Let's start. We'll do the prayers together. Om
Shiva Samadhyam Vande Guru Paramparam
Saraswati
Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishri Siddhir Bhavadvame Sada
Om
Om Sehasvatu Sehnav Bhunaktu Veryam Karvavai Om Shanti 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 Devendriyo Indram Pradam Om Santarthaye Bodho
Alright, so last class we finished Karana Shariram and today we are moving on to Avasthatrayam. Avasthatrayam means the three states of experience. And we'll just read this. So the student asks the question, Avasthatrayam kim?
Avasthatrayam kim
Jagrat swapna sushuptyavasthaha.
Jagrat swapna sushuptyavasthaha.
Okay. So the student has asked how many or what are the three states of experience? What is Avasthatrayam? And the teacher replies by giving the names of the three states. And what are the names? Jagrada Avastha, Swapna Avastha, and Sushupti Avastha. Okay, Jagrada Avastha means the waking state, which is the experience of the subjective external world. Swapna Avastha is the dream state, the experience of a subjective internal world. The previous one was objective external world. Okay, waking state is experience of objective external world. Swapna Avastha is the experience of the subjective internal world. And Sushupti Avastha, the deep sleep state, the dreamless deep sleep state, where the experience is of no experience. Okay, so these are the three avasthas, the three states of experience. And now we'll see them in little more detail, each of them. The first one is Jagrat Avastha, the waking state. So let's read this. Jagrat Avastha ka.
Jagrat Avastha ka
Shrotradi Jnanendriyaihi.
Shrotradi Jnanendriyaihi
Shabdadi Vishayescha Jnayate.
Shabdadi Vishayascha Jnayate
Iti yasa Jagrat Avastha.
Iti Jagrat Avastha
Sthula Sharirabhimani.
Sthula Sharirabhimani
Atma Vishva Ityuchyate.
Atma Vishva Ityuchyate.
So the question is, what is Jagrat Avastha? What is the waking state of experience? Now, we are all already familiar with what it means to be awake. I hope all of you are awake this morning, right now. Okay, but we are familiar. We do know what it means to be awake. Okay, but still we will discuss to see what the scriptures have to say about this waking state. Now, in this waking state, the sense organs are active and they are functioning. What are the sense organs? The eyes, ears, nose, the sense of touch, that is the skin, and the sense of taste, which is the tongue. So all of these are awake, and not only is it awake, it is interacting with its respective sense objects. It is interacting with the outside world. So in the waking state, there is a sense organ, sense object interaction that is constantly going on, unavoidably going on, right? You cannot, once the eyes are open, you cannot stop it from seeing, right? Whatever is in front, it will necessarily be picked up by the eyes and it will be seen. So there is a continuous interaction going on between the world and the sense objects. And based on these interactions, there is some experience or some reaction that is born, right? Like when you interact with something pleasant, you feel good, you feel happy, you feel pleasant. And when you interact with something bad, you may feel unhappy or it may be a painful experience. So constantly in the waking state, there is the interaction with the external world and the interaction based reactions, right? So this is the defining characteristic of the waking state, that the sense organs are awake and active and they are continuously interacting with their sense objects, and this interaction is continuously creating experiences or reactions that we can experience, right? So this waking state is nothing but a series of pleasure and pain, a series of painful and pleasurable experiences that is born out of this interaction with the external world. And so this is what the author is telling in this line. He says, Shrotradi. What is Shrotra?
Hearing.
Yes. सुनने वाले.
Ears.
Ears, right? And what is Adi?
Etc.
Other Jnanendriyas.
Yes, Adi means etc. The others. So Shrotradi means Shrotra and all the others, which is referring to what? The Jnanendriyas. So he says Shrotradi Jnanendriya. So the sense organs which start with Shrotra and all of the others, what do they interact with? Shabdadi. Shabda is what? Sound. Sound corresponds to Shrotra, the ears, right? Adi means etc. That means you have to mentally match each one. For eyes, it will be the vision. For ears, it will be the sound. For the skin, it will be the touch, like that. So he has left it to you to do the matching. So Shrotradi Jnanendriya, the ears, etc., sense organs, they interact with sound, etc., Vishaya. Vishaya is the sense object, the respective sense objects. Okay. Jnayate. Jnayate means to experience or to know. So the sense objects know or experience their respective sense objects. Iti yasa jagrad avastha. Iti yasa, that which is in this way, that is jagrad avastha. Okay, that in which this is possible, that state in which this interaction is possible, that is called as Jagrad Avastha, the waking state. Now, we need to understand that these sense organs are inoperational by themselves. They cannot simply operate by themselves, right? They require the backing of the mind. The mind is very much necessary to process the information that is picked up by the sense organs and also to coordinate all of this information. So all the processing and registering, the overall coordination, that is taken care by the mind. So without the backing of the mind, the sense organs are inoperational, right? So, have you heard of this word pratyahara? Where have you heard pratyahara?
8 limbs of yoga.
Yamas and Niyama.
Ashtanga Yoga.
Yes, from the Yoga Sutras, the Ashtanga Yoga, the fifth one is pratyahara. And what do they say pratyahara means?
Withdrawal of
Withdrawal of
senses.
the sense.
Withdrawal of sense organs.
Withdrawing the
Of
indriyas.
sense organs. Okay, now we will refine that a little further and we will say it is withdrawal of the indriya from the golakam. Not just withdrawal, willful withdrawal of the indriya from the golakam. What does that mean?
You hear, but you don't listen.
And you do that in class also, no? Sometimes. But generally, sometimes that happens in class also, doesn't it? You're hearing but not listening. So what's the difference between pratyahara and getting distracted in class?
It is using the
It is
mind,
deliberate.
redirecting it.
Willful being the key word. Using the mind consciously, deliberately withdrawing the indriya from the golakam. Okay, indriya is part of the subtle body. Golakam is part of the physical body. So your ears remain where they are. The physical ears remain where they are, but they are inoperational. Why? Because the mind has withdrawn that indriya willfully. Okay, so this is pratyahara. But what we are trying to say is that the mind is necessary to back up the functioning of the indriya. Whether it is a withdrawal or whether it is an active functioning, the mind is necessary to be there to help in this operation of the indriya. Okay, now that we have understood this, see the last line which says Thula Sharira Bhimani Atma Vishwa Ityuchate. So let us break this word. So this becomes Thula Sharira Abhimani. Abhimani or Abhiman. Now in Sanskrit, this is a technical word which means identification. Abhimana means identification or a connection, association. Okay, don't get confused with the Hindi word where Abhiman means pride. We are not talking about pride or vanity. We are talking about identification. So what has happened is that there is an identification with the physical body. Why? Because the mind needs the indriyas for that interaction with the external world. And indriya needs what? Indriya needs golakam to be functional. Right? So the mind, because of the identification with the indriya, because of the identification with the golaka, it is identified with the physical body. So this identification of the physical body, the one who is identified with physical body is called as Vishwa. This is a technical name. Vishwa is the one who is identified with the physical body. Now, when you say physical body, it also implies the subtle body, right? Because the subtle body has to be there for it to be alive. The physical body by itself cannot do anything. So this, the one who is identified with all the three bodies is called as Vishwa. Okay, Vishwa means the complete one, the complete jiva. Why the complete one? Because only in the waking state, the full manifestation of the jiva is possible. Because the mind is fully functional, fully operational in the waking state. The sense organs and the karmendriya are fully operational, fully functional in the waking state. And most importantly, it is only in the waking state that you have free will. Okay, and because of this free will, we call this a complete manifestation. And so Vishwa is the complete one, the one who is identified with the physical body, or rather connected, associated with physical body, and the one who is the complete one, that is Vishwa. Okay? Yes. With this, Jagrat Avastha is over. Any questions?
Why is the word Atma used here?
Atma, you can take it one way to mean, the one, or the I who is identified with my physical body, that is Vishwa. And that identification with the physical body happens only in the waking state. So I who am identified with physical body. Even if you take Atma as consciousness, that consciousness who believes that he is Sthula Shariram is called Vishwa.
So here the Atma is like Jiva then.
The Atma, that is the consciousness, believes that it is Jiva. Obviously, it is a mistaken notion, but this is the wrong conclusion, that I believe that I am the physical body.
Om Medaji, but here Atma, this Jagrat Avastha is Anatma.
Yes.
Okay.
Then what is the reference to Pratyahara over here?
What?
So, Medhaji, is this Atma not the reflected consciousness?
You can take it as reflected consciousness. Reflected consciousness is anyway the one who believes that he is the Jiva, the identified one, right?
Yes.
Metaji,
Yeah.
can you please explain again how the mind thinks that it is the body?
See, in order to interact with the world, there has to be an association with the Indriyas. And the Indriyas are definitely associated with the Golakams, the physical body. Right? So through this association, the mind is very much strongly associated with the physical body.
Okay.
And so there is an identification that I am this physical body.
Thank you.
When you say I, remember that I is not different from Atma, right? The very word Atma means I. So I, who is identified with the physical body, I'm called Vishwa.
Medaji,
Metaji.
can we say that Sthula Shariram is Golakam and Sukshma Shariram is the Indriya?
No. Golakam belongs to Sthula Shariram. Indriya belongs to Sukshma Shariram.
Okay.
Yeah, Metaji. So in Pratyahar, we are still in Jagrat Avastha, but we don't. So can you explain that? I am like confused in that situation.
It is a willful withdrawal, that's all.
Okay.
Patanjali's idea is a little different. They go into the dhyana, dharana, and all those things after that. That is the whole point of the withdrawal, right? But for us, this is just to understand that the mind is involved with the indriyas. So that would not be Jagrat Avastha anymore, because then there is no interaction of the sense organs with the external world. And that is the very defining characteristic of Jagrat Avastha.
Medhaji, Pratyahara is not mentioned in this shloka. So what is the exact connection that you want us to pick up with Pratyahara and this shloka?
That the mind is backing the indriyas functioning.
So just giving us an example that the mind is the controller here.
Yes, the mind is very much necessary to process the information. If the indriya is there but mind is not there, then you cannot really process or register any of the information.
Thank you.
Okay. Right. So we'll.
Medha ma'am, I'm sorry. I forgot Golakam, the exact meaning of Golakam. Can you just repeat, please?
Golakam is the physical anatomical part of the sense organ.
Yes,
Like-
but sorry, you mentioned that it's not related to the subtle body. So I got a little bit confused.
Yes, it is not. It is related to the Sthula Shariram.
But in the connection, it is there, right? I
The
mean, when
connection is there, but it is not that. That is the point. That the physical ears you see belongs to Sthula Shariram or Sukshma Shariram.
Sukshma, Stula, sorry, Stula.
Sthula Shariram. And the power behind that ear, which makes it able to hear things, that belongs to Sthula or Sukshma.
That's also Stula because all the wires, I mean, the nerves and all that.
I'm not talking about the nerves and the blood vessels and all that. I am talking about the invisible power that makes the ear hear.
Sukshma.
Sukshma.
Sukshma. That's all. That is the connection. The physical ear is the Golakam, that invisible power is the Indriya.
Okay, ma'am, thank you.
Okay. So we'll move on.
Strangely, Medhaji, in Jagrad Avastha, the Karmendriyas have not been mentioned.
Yeah, they are not mentioned. We can take that they are also operational. It is a supplied understanding. It is not directly given in the verse.
Okay, thanks.
All right, so let's read this. Swapnavastha keti chet
Swapnavastha
Apnavasthaketi chet
jagradavasthayam
Jagradavasthayam
yadrishtam yachrutam
Yadrishtam
Yadshrutam
tajjanita vasanaya
Tadjanita vasanaya
nidra samaye
Nidra samaye
yat prapancha pratiyate
Prapancha pratiyate
sa swapnavastha
Swapnavastha
sukshma sharirabhimani
Sukshma sharirabhimani
atma taijasa ityuchyate.
Atma Taijasa Ityate.
So now we come to Swapna Avastha, the dream state. And the student has asked Swapna Avastha Keti Chet. Keti Chet is, if I ask what is Swapna Avastha, then what is the answer? So to understand Swapna Avastha, we'll first come back to Jagrat Avastha. And whenever you are awake and whenever you are interacting with the world, what happens is that in the mind, there is a continuous recording going on. Okay, there's a continuous record memory being created all the time. Now, this is a very sophisticated, very superior kind of instrument that we have, this mind. All right, so if you take your phone and you try to record something, try to record a video, what does it record? At best, it records the audio and the video, right? But this mind is so superior, so sophisticated. Not only does it record audio and video, it also records the remaining three sense organs. That is your taste, smell, and the touch. So all five sensory information that you get, all of that is continuously being recorded. And not only that, it is also recording your emotions and reactions to these sensory inputs. So it is continuously recording your five sensory inputs plus your reactions to them, and plus it is recording all the time. Every moment you are awake, continuously it is recording. If you put your phone on record mode for more than 1 hour or 2 hours, it will tell you, okay, we are now out of storage space, right? But your mind is so superior, it records every waking moment, and not just of this lifetime, but every lifetime that you have ever had. Everything is recorded. Okay. Now all of this is stored. And this is interesting that, how does a memory become strong? So a memory becomes strong in two ways. One is through repetition. The second is through strong emotion. Okay, so if you remember your school days, then if they ask you to memorize something, what would you do? You would repeat it 10 times, 15 times, 20 times, and then it would stick a little bit, right? Now, supposing you go to a movie that you really like, you're really invested in that movie, you're totally involved, totally emotionally invested to that movie, then you need to watch that movie only once and you'll remember almost every dialogue, right? You'll remember the whole thing crystal clear. Why? Because of strong emotion towards that movie. So, two ways of strengthening a memory: through repetition or through strong emotion. Okay, this is just a side interesting thing. Now, no, all questions at the end. It will break the flow otherwise. Okay, so yes, the memory can be strengthened in these two ways. Now, this mind keeps recording all the time from all the lifetimes. And these recorded impressions, these recordings, you can say, they are called as vasanas, the impressions, the imprints on the mind, vasanas. Now, these vasanas are carried over from lifetime to lifetime. When the body dies, the Sukshma Shariram travels. With the Sukshma Shariram, the mind also travels. With the mind, the Vasana also travels. And so that is why, you see small children and they are prodigies in some field, we call them, right? They might be very talented at, say, music or mathematics or musical instruments or something. They show exceptional talent at a very young age. They're hardly 3 years, 4 years, probably cannot even walk properly, but they can sing or do mathematics. If you've seen Shakuntala Devi or so many of these young singers who come on reality shows these days, very strong understanding of that subject. A lot of people spend lifetimes, a whole lifetime with that subject, but they may not reach the proficiency that the small child has. So where is this coming from, that knowledge that these small children have? So it is because of strong vasanas that manifest in their life at a very young age. Okay, so these are vasanas, the imprints. Now, when you go to sleep, the mind starts replaying these recordings. Okay, the recordings are once again projected onto the screen of the mind and they are replayed. And that is what we call as a dream. Okay, so remember that in dream, nothing new is being generated. There is no new or fresh experience. There is no new knowledge. There is only a replay of the recordings. Now, it might feel like something new is happening in the dream. You might feel, okay, I've never seen this place or this thing before. How did it come in my dream? So there can be a lot of answers for that. First of all, in the dream, it might come in a mixed up order. It may not be exactly how it is recorded. It can be rearranged. All the memories can be rearranged, and in a mix and match kind of order, it can be projected, which makes it seem like it is something new. Another reason why you may not recognize is it may be from a different lifetime, which we don't remember, right? Or any memory that you don't consciously remember, either from this life or from a different life. And that also appears very new. And yet another reason can be that whatever you see or whatever you imagine in the waking state, some part of your imagination, that also can be replayed. So that can also appear as though it is some new thing. So we have to remember that in dreams, it is these old projected, old vasanas that are being projected, which you are experiencing again. So that is what a dream is. So this is what the author is telling in this line. He says, Jagrad avasthayam, during Jagrad avastha, during the waking state, yad drishtam, whatever is seen, yat shrutam, whatever is heard, tat janita vasanaya. Tat refers to this, whatever is seen and whatever is heard, and you have to supply the others also. Okay, he has just told the first two and left us to supply the rest. So tat janita, from whatever is recorded through hearing and seeing and all other experiences, from that janita is generated or is born vasana. The vasanas are born from these recordings. That is, the vasana is created when you, based on whatever you have seen, whatever you have heard. And what happens? Nidra samaye, during the time of sleep. Nidra is sleep, samaye is time. When you sleep, yav prapancha pratiyate. Prapancha means a world. And what kind of prapancha is this? An antar prapancha, an inner world. Right? It is an inner world that only you experience. So, yav prapancha pratiyate, that inner world which is seen or which is experienced by you, sa swapna avastha, that is called as a dream state. Okay, so this is the explanation for the dream state, this world that is generated from the vasanas that are born from the recordings of the waking state, that is called as a dream state. And in this dream state, is your physical body active? Are you even aware of your physical body?
No.
You're not aware of the physical body at all, right? You don't have any connection, any association. You don't even know that you have a physical body, right? So in this state, you are only identified with the dream world. And the dream world is nothing but a thought, right? So that is why you are only identified with your sukshma shariram. There is no more association with physical body, with the sthula shariram. You are only identified with the sukshma shariram. So this sukshma sharira bhimani, the one who is identified with the sukshma shariram, he is called as taijasa. Okay, so the one who is identified with sukshma shariram in the form of this dream, that is called as taijasa. Because right in the dream state, the world exists only as a thought. Okay, so now we can have questions.
Meghaji, what is Tejasa?
Taijasa means the bright one or the brilliant one.
Neetaji,
Yeah.
what is the difference between vasanas and samskaras?
Vasanas are the manifested samskaras. So samskaras are the ones that are still in potential form, and vasanas are the ones that manifest.
Thank you.
But it depends on the context, and sometimes they can be used interchangeably, and sometimes they may take different meanings. It
Mhm.
depends on which context you are using.
Okay.
Yes, Lalita ji.
Can you hear me, Medhaji?
Yeah.
This, you said memory can be strengthened by strong emotion. That I'm not convinced with that word. Like we just get engrossed in that, isn't it?
Strong
That is when
emotion, because you are that involvement. It doesn't come for everything, right?
yeah.
The thing that you love and the thing that you hate, both you can remember very strongly. Because
Okay.
of strong
So
emotion.
okay. So raga dvesha we can attach here.
Yes.
Okay.
It's just an example, but basically any strong emotion.
Okay. Thank you.
But for memory, the more scientific or the more tried and tested way is to do it through repetition, because you cannot control emotion. You can control the repetition. You cannot say, okay, I want to be strongly emotional now because I want to remember this. It doesn't happen that way, right?
Yeah. Thank you. Just want to, I think samskara and vasanas, I also had a doubt. Samskara is in a potential form. Vasana is which is getting manifested, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Next we have Lata Jain.
Okay. Hi, Medhaji.
Yeah.
So my question here is, at times, when we are sleeping, some people do get nightmares, right? So this could have been an experience which has never happened. So are we saying that in dream state, past life experience also can come up as a dream state and affect this life?
Yes, it's possible.
So that is Swapna Avastha itself, right?
Yes. Whether it's a good dream or a bad dream depends on your prarabdha.
Okay. Okay.
In a dream also, you are exhausting prarabdha. You are exhausting certain punyam and papam. If it's a very good dream, you have exhausted little punyam. If it's a very bad dream, you have exhausted little papam. But if you don't remember where it's from, it's possible that it could be from a memory that you don't remember, or even from a memory from a different life. That is possible.
Okay, but at times such people, they end up taking it and it affects their present as well, right? Because if it is like a nightmare, I've seen some of them like, going ahead and actually getting affected it in their present life.
We get affected with everything, including the dream, including the waking state also, right? This is the problem we are trying to resolve through Vedanta, that this waking world is also as real as the dream world only. So really speaking, it shouldn't affect us, but it's easier said than done, right?
So it's like forcefully keep telling yourself this should not affect you, kind of a thing.
You have to understand why it should not affect you. Is there any reality to the dream? Can the dream monster ever hurt you in the waking state?
Okay. Not really.
No, it cannot. It cannot even come. It's a two or different levels of reality, right? And when you have this understanding that what happens in the dream is only in the dream, it can never affect me in waking life, then what is there to be scared about or happy about? Both.
Correct.
So that is the thing, that once you understand that the dream world is not, it does not have a very real or substantial existence, then it should not affect you at all. That is the.
Thank you.
Medhaji, then how are we?
We are going in order.
So I'll put up my hand. Yeah.
So next we have Lata Murthy.
Namaste, ma'am.
Yeah.
Actually, my question was partially answered in the last question, which the other person asked. So again, I would like to get a clarity on this. So you said when we go to sleep, the mind replays the recordings of the past. So does it mean that we are cleansing the mind and those memories are getting emptied?
What do you mean by cleansing the mind?
Like you said, some of papam is also vanished and even some punyam is also taken away, right? So is it like the impressions are getting cleansed in the sense emptied? Is it no more stored in the form of vasanas or memories?
Not necessary. It's still there. The punyam and papam may be exhausted.
Huh.
But the memory, why should it vanish?
No, that's what you said. It gets
Just
exhausted,
because,
no?
see, you think in waking state, just because you remembered something from few days ago, does that memory vanish?
That's what, ma'am. You said some papam and punyam gets exhausted, no? On the same context, I'm asking. So
Papam
that
and punyam is very different from a memory. They are
okay.
not. Papam and punyam may get exhausted for that situation or that incident, but why should the memory go? Right now also, suppose you just think back and you remember something painful that had happened long back, and then you experience a little bit more pain right now remembering that. Does that mean that memory has gone away just because you experience a little bit more pain right now?
No, it has not gone away. So that is what I'm saying. So it doesn't get exhausted. The whatever vasanas are there, it doesn't get exhausted completely.
There is
Just
no
by
reason
dreaming.
why it should.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it, ma'am.
Next, Ankita.
Namaste, Vedaji. So, do we have any control on this swapna state? And okay, and is it possible, like in the dream state, I know that I am dreaming, so I'm conscious about my dream, and I know this is not reality, and I still want to see what is happening.
That is generally when you're just about to wake up. The dream doesn't last much longer after that.
Yeah, okay.
You're transitioning from swapna back to Jagrata. All right. Next, Anjali.
Medaji, I have two doubts. One is I'm trying to think the purpose of dream state in the sense that we just talked about how even Jagrata Avastha is as real or as real as dream state, and uh, once we know that whatever is happening in the dream is not really able to affect us, then we will move past it, and same for Jagrata Avastha. So I was thinking, why do we experience not deep sleep, sorry, the dream state, and is it like that we are more focused in the dream state as compared to Jagrata Avastha because we are not attached, we are not associated with our senses?
Well, the first question was the
Purpose
why
of
the dream happens. So there's no real answer to that. You can just say it is the one way of exhausting prarabdha. A deeper analysis of why dreams happen, is as good as asking why does creation happen, why does life happen, why are we born? There is no answers for these. Okay, so we just say that it is for the exhaustion of prarabdha. And the main purpose of the dream, the swapna avastha for Vedanta, is that we use it as an example to understand the different orders of reality. Dream state is an inferior order of reality as compared to the waking state, right? In the same way, the Paramarthika Satyam, the Brahman order of reality, is a superior order of reality than this waking world that we see. So that is the main purpose of having the dream state study, why we study about it. And whether we are more focused in the dream state or not, again, what does it matter?
Right. Right.
If you're very focused in the dream or you're very focused in the waking state, in what way does it matter?
I was thinking because we are not we are not distracted by our indriyas, so
But in the
there is
dream,
less.
also you see things, no? You see that, okay, there is another person, there is something happening there.
So we
You
are
have a
just
dream
not
eye
experiencing.
also, right? You have a dream eye, dream ears.
We even sometimes feel the pain, and that's when we wake up from the dream.
Yes.
Okay, and just one more doubt was that in Jagrata Avastha, you said that only in the waking state you have free will. What does that mean?
Means you have choice. The waking
To
state.
make actions, basically.
Yes, to do, to not do, to do something else. That choice is not there for any other creature or in any other state.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Next, Manshi Das.
Om Medhaji, I have a doubt in sanskar and vasana. The sanskar is a potential form of our memory or emotion. What it is in
Yes,
a potential form, and what it is in manifested form. First thing, and second thing is when the Sukshma Sharir carries both the sanskar and vasana to the next life.
Yes.
Okay. So sanskar is the potential form of the memory.
Yes. The one that manifests is the vasana.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Next, Shweta Gupta.
Namaste, ma'am. Ma'am, I had a very weird kind of a thing. I have generally from a very early age, I've seen my mothers or my like aunts, whenever they get a very significant dream, which they feel that this is a significant dream, they follow the kind of decisions made in that dream, or something happens to them, and like whatever waking state issue going on to them, they dream about that and they get a solution from the dream or something. So I wanted to understand in this that what is happening, like the mind is basically is kind of looking at all the situations and giving a decision to them, like what is this kind of a like
No, it is.
happening?
It is, following what happens in the dream, thinking you found a solution. It is just an improper understanding of the dream state. And when you dwell on something too much in the waking state, when you go to sleep, because of that strong vasana, strong potential, there's a chance it will come up in the dream. So once you have the correct understanding of what is a dream, then you look at dreams very differently. You don't give them as much relevance in your life. You may find a solution. I'm not saying no. Sometimes it does happen that you think you've discovered something in the dream state, but it is not a new discovery. Okay, it is just a rearrangement of old existing facts that seems like a new discovery. That's all.
Yes, ma'am, of course, it's like the mind working out. But I've seen some people actually making like life decisions based out of dreams. So I got confused.
They may do that, but that doesn't mean that dreams offer something new. That is the point we are talking about.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, next, Vinita Kaushik.
Om Medhaji, this was something new you said today about exhausting prarabdha in a dream. That was something I heard for the first time. How do we know we are exhausting prarabdha?
What is prarabdha?
The karma which for this lifetime, which I'm going to utilize or use. Or
What are the two types?
prarabdha.
Yes. Of any
like
kind.
that prabala and
Punyam and Papam.
like the weak. Acha, you meant that. Okay.
Punyam and Papam.
I
What
thought
is
typed
Punyam
up.
and Papam?
It is the whatever result of what our actions are, our karma, adrishta phalam.
Okay, and what does it have the potential to do?
Potential to do for us in this lifetime.
Yes, what is Punyam? The potential for
good things to happen.
For pleasurable situation. We won't use the word
Yeah.
good because good is a very subjective word.
Right.
We will use the word
Right.
pleasurable because pleasure is a very objective experience. There's no denying what is pleasure, right? What is good you can argue about.
Correct.
What is pleasure? There's no
Right,
argument.
right.
Everyone has experienced pleasure.
Yes.
Okay, so
Right.
punyam is the potential for pleasurable experiences and papam is the potential for painful experiences. Now, in the dream,
Right.
do you feel certain pleasures or certain pains depending on the dream? Do you experience pleasure and
Yes.
pain?
Yes.
This is
Yes.
an exhaustion of prarabdha.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Thank you, Mita.
Next, we have Meera Sen.
My question was same, so I think it's been answered. Thank you.
Okay. Next, Kartika.
Ma'am, is it good? Okay, in general, they say it is when we have a deep sleep without any dreams, we feel better. So we feel better means our mentality is slightly better. So we might do better things, which might effectively increase our punyam. So aren't dreams something that we should try to sleep better and not have dreams?
Is that in your control?
Sometimes they tell clear your head before you go to sleep and then fall asleep. It helps better.
You can do, and possibly there's a chance that it may work. To some extent, okay, you do have a control that if you sleep in a very emotionally disturbed state, there's a chance that you will have a disturbed sleep. And a disturbed sleep definitely affects the health, affects the next day, affects your thinking, functioning, everything, right? So you want to have a better sleep. There are techniques to have better sleep and they may work. But to say that I will totally avoid dreams, that is not in anybody's control, right?
Agreed. But should we focus, or in general, should we work towards emptying our prarabdha?
Prarabdha is anyway getting emptied. You don't need to do anything extra to empty prarabdha.
Okay.
Every
So
moment that you are alive and awake, or every moment you are here, you are exhausting prarabdha. Nothing more you need to do.
Which means that if I reduced the elements in the papa counter, I'm supposed to feel slightly relieved after that, right? But after a nightmare, I'm still feeling strained or stressed.
Have you studied the law of karma fully in the previous?
No.
Then you will have to wait because these questions are coming from a very basic, misconception about what is karma. So you'll have to fully understand. Then this whole prarabdha will make sense. Till then, you have to put it aside.
Okay, ma'am. So this is a part of the previous class, a separate class altogether, separate session. What?
This law of karma comes in the 5th chapter, which those who attended the previous batch, they have already gone through. Those who have not, you will have to wait.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Yes. Rinku.
Oh, Medhaji. Medhaji, my question is that essentially while we are studying about the 3 states, that means that the expression of the consciousness is varied in all the 3 states. In the waking state, there is a higher expression of consciousness because the intellect is also functioning. In the dream state, it is only the mind because the physical body is the sense organs or the physical body is not there. And in the what we call the sleep state, which is the sushupta avastha. So in that, there is the mind, intellect, and the physical body, nothing is being experienced. So does that actually mean that we are moving towards expression of consciousness? And if we get up from this, when we say that these three states are there and we are studying these three states, how does it relate to helping us understand that Aham Brahmasmi is the essential concept?
Okay, so first of all, consciousness does not change. Consciousness is never changing. It is never affected by any of these things. So it may seem like there is a different kind of expression in each of these states. And that is because of the nature of the reflecting medium, not because consciousness is changing. So when you say expression of consciousness, there can be two variables that change there, either the reflecting medium or the consciousness itself. So it is very important to understand that consciousness does not change ever. What changes is the nature of the reflecting medium. So in the in the waking state, the mind is fully active. In the dream state, the mind is partially active. And in the deep sleep state, the mind is fully resolved. And so the reflecting medium is changing, and that is why it appears as though consciousness is changing. Only appears. It is not an actual change to consciousness. So this is something that has to be remembered. And as for your other part, that Aham Brahmasmi, how does it connect to all these three? In all the three states of experience, there is one common factor. What is that?
Awareness.
Okay, close enough. You, the experiencer, is common. You know that I am awake. You know that, okay, I had a dream. You know that I had a deep sleep. In that state, you may not know, but there is somebody witnessing or somebody experiencing that, right?
Yes.
That
is common. Okay.
That common state, that common commonality between the three things, three states, that is the main point of studying these. That there is one thing, when you say waker, dreamer, and sleeper, the at the end, the one who is the experiencer, observer, seer, the that is common in all the three, right?
Yes.
That is consciousness, and that is Brahman, that is who you are. So the point of studying these three things is to understand that there is still one thing common, and that is consciousness, the very support of these three states.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay. Himadri Bhargava.
Namaskar, ma'am. So my question is you said that whatever is recorded in the waking state, that that is rearranged in some form, and then we see it in the dream. So is it like when we are in the waking state, so our past lives experiences that which have been recorded earlier, so they are being replayed, just like in the dream state, they are being replayed in this life, like in the waking state?
In the waking state also, you can have some influence from these past impressions. So like I gave the example of these small children who are very talented in certain things. That could be one. Or sometimes it can happen to any of us. You know, you just see something, or you see a place and you feel like I've been here before, but you have not actually, not in this life. Or you feel like I know this person somehow, but you've never met that person in this life at least. And so there is a small sense of like, okay, this has happened, or this, I'm aware of this already somehow. So it does happen. And if you've heard of those stories of some of those trance hypnotism things that some people do, and you may have heard some people start speaking different languages. They have never learned that language in this lifetime. So where did that come from? So it is there. In the waking state, we may not access it as clearly as you would say yesterday's memory. Yesterday, if I ask you, what did you do? It is very clear and very easily accessible to you. But the past life, what did you do if I ask? There's no very clear answer. But there is a small influence, right, from of certain things. So that you just have to understand that, okay, this is some, from some other some other vasana that is just influencing me in this way.
Thank you.
Yes, Mithula Ravi.
Ma'am, this might sound a little crazy and a bit personal. Neither do I dream, nor I remember my dreams. So does that mean the recording instrument is dysfunctional? And if so, how do I exhaust my prarabdha? Or is that happening in a different state, in other two states, if not in the dream state?
You just said that you don't remember your dreams.
Yes.
So how do you know for sure that you're not dreaming? What if you're dreaming and simply not remembering?
Exactly. I'm a little confused about that.
So it's possible. Some people do claim that they don't dream, and that's okay. It's not a very big problem. I don't think it's a problem as such. And I don't think it's correct to say that the recording instrument or the replay instrument is broken. It might be that the prarabdha for this life dictates that you won't have dreams, and that's fine.
Oh, so that doesn't mean that I don't have to exhaust anything of my prarabdha through dreams?
Have you studied the law of karma that from the previous batch or something?
I did, but no, not as in previous batch. I know a little, but I'm not able to correlate that with this.
Yes, so you have to wait to understand fully
All right.
of the law of karma. At every moment, you are exhausting prarabdha.
Okay.
Every moment.
Irrespective of whether I dream or not.
Yes.
Okay. I'm reassured right now. Thank you.
Ankita?
So, ma'am, is there any significance or meaning to the dreams? Because we have read at many places, if you see this, something, this happened, or this kind of things will happen. Like if you see the snake or if you see the blood, is there any significance to that?
You're talking about the dream analysis that is very popular
Yeah.
these days.
Yeah.
And for Vedanta, no. My suggestion is don't invest so much relevance to dreams also. It's not worth it. It will not take you anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so all these things, a lot of people have a lot of philosophies about the world, but nothing is a complete philosophy. Nothing will take you anywhere. There are,
so such things come in newspaper also, like.
That is what, it's just for entertainment, it's not from ethical value. Everything that a lot of people do these days in the name of spirituality, it's mostly just entertainment. The answer or the final quest is through Advaita alone.
Yeah. I'd like to give one little insight on a scientific thing, which is that when you're the deep state of sleep is tied very much to our physiology, as are the other two states. And delta sleep is what they record in a deep sleep state, which is very good for the repair of our physiology. And science hasn't been able to say what is the purpose of rapid eye movement, which is dream state, but they have established that it is very important for memory.
It's a different prakriya, a different approach.
Yeah.
So it's fine, but ultimately we have to remember not to get lost in this. What she is asking about the dream analysis, it is just simply going deeper into the dream and getting lost in the dream. Where does it take you? Nowhere. Does it solve your day-to-day problems? Not really. Does it permanently solve? Definitely not. So it is not something worth investing in. But if you're not convinced, you can explore. I think eventually you will also realize and come back. So, all right, June. Yes, June. This is the last question. It's time.
Ometaji. So during the dream state, is some parts of the antakaranam, like the chitta, manas, or ahankara, the buddhi, they get like less active?
Yes, it's
a change in the antakarana.
Yeah, it is a partial activity of the mind. The main is obviously chitta, which is active. we don't really know about the others because Shastra has not discussed that in so much detail.
Okay, thank you.
We say it is a partial activity of the mind because a lot of things that are available in your waking state are not available in the dream state. Free will or input from your sensory organs, these things are not there. So it is a partial activity of the mind. Okay, we'll stop for today. We'll finish with the prayers.
Purnamada
Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate
Purnasya
Om
Shanti Shanti
Om Shri Guru Hari
Om Tat Sat.
Om Namah
Thank
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Medha ji.
Thank you, ma'am.
Medha ji.